BYJU'S is faced with dire financial strains yet again, days after BYJU'S informed its employees that there would be a delay in disbursement of salaries again. The edtech giant has now reported, in fact, initiated layoffs via phone calls. Media reports suggest that BYJU'S is letting go of staffers without PIP notice period amid financial constraints. BYJU'S new round of layoffs may impact anywhere between 100 to 500 employees, especially those in the sales function. Remember, this comes barely 24 hours after BYJU'S floated an internal email suggesting there will be a delay in salaries, post which we're now given to understand layoffs have been initiated at the edtech giant. What's really happening and how are financial constraints panning out at BYJU'S? What's the future like? To discuss that, we have Krishnakumar and Kartik Malhotra here. Kartik, I want to begin with you. We discussed in the morning as to how the financial constraints at BYJU'S has resulted in delays of salary again. Does this come as a surprise to you? The layoffs have started just hours after.
I think the timing of it, Shweta, is definitely surprising, because in the morning we saw yesterday BYJU'S Ravindran had written a letter to employees and really saying that they are struggling to pay salaries, struggling again to make payroll, but promising that by 8th of April the salaries would be credited, even at a time when the February salaries are only partly paid thus far. The timing of it is obviously a little suspect, because you send a mail one day that salaries will be credited and the next day you sack people, and the numbers are fairly staggering. Anything between 100 to 500 is what initial reports right now are suggesting. But the whole cost-cutting measure, the whole cost-cutting exercise at BYJU'S is no surprise, because we've seen recently they have shut down offices. Everybody has gone back to work from home. Barring the corporate office in Bangalore, all other facilities that housed the staff of BYJU'S have pretty much been locked out. So BYJU'S is struggling with its financial runway. It doesn't have enough money in its bank, and I think getting rid of the sales team, which seems to be a bulk of this new number which is emerging, seems only obvious, because do you have really something to sell that people want to buy?
Absolutely. So there's not enough sales is what we're given to understand, not enough revenue trickling in, as a result of which salaries have been delayed. Krishna, once again, we've tracked this story for a while now, and we know that BYJU'S Ravindran is faced with multiple battles on multiple levels. But on the basis of the email that was floated internally yesterday, BYJU'S has acknowledged that they do not have enough money. The money that was raised via rights issue has also been put on hold in an escrow account. That currently is being dealt with NCLT or by NCLT. Run us through what is happening exactly at BYJU'S, the turmoil that BYJU'S is facing.
The hope, the last ray of hope in terms of cash flow at least, was that rights issue, right, of $200 million. And then that is stuck in litigation simply because the foreign investors fear that the valuation at which that rights issue raised money would bring BYJU'S down to what, less than $1 billion from what was once used to be a $22 billion company. This is a straightforward tussle between the foreign investors and BYJU'S Ravindran. So hence that $200 million which BYJU'S Ravindran was hoping will give in some cash flow to work with at least in the near future, that's gone too, and that's the reason why they've delayed salaries for the last 2 months. And now comes this news of people being fired on phone calls. People, when an employee went and asked, how come, when an employee was let go, when they asked, why were they let go, your performance is bad. If your performance is bad, how come you didn't put me in a PIP or a performance improvement plan? That's the and then you see the employee improves, and then you, as a procedure to in fact let go of an employee who's not delivering the kind of performance the company is looking for. None of those protocols have been followed over here. People have been let go on, and then straightforward you just send a mail saying that your employment with the Think and Learn Private Limited, which is the company that holds BYJU'S, will cease to exist as of 31st March 2024. That's the kind of sackings that have happened now of 500,000 people. And we're talking about more than 10,000 people who've been let go of BYJU'S, since the downfall of BYJU'S began. When you ask BYJU'S says this is part of the cost-cutting strategy that began in October 2023. So that is the official line coming in from BYJU'S. But the fact of the matter is that since October 2023 to now, things have gone from bad to worse for BYJU'S, Shweta.
All right. And Kartik, before we move on, should employees and existing customers of BYJU'S be worried at this point in time between the battle of BYJU'S management and the foreign investors? it's the customers and the employees who are losing.
Obviously, employees need to be worried, and for those who are
Yep.
still hanging on to any hope that the company is going to revive, well, they'll have to live with that hope for a very long time. So employees definitely need to worry. Customers, on the customers front, I mean, does BYJU'S really have the kind of customer base that it was once catering to anymore? How many of those customers are locked in with those tablets and with those learning modules that they've paid, let's say, a yearly subscription for, who will perhaps not renew that subscription next year, given all the negative news around BYJU'S? So customers need not worry as much as employees, because they already have the delivery of what they paid for. Employees, obviously, who are still staying back at BYJU'S, would need to worry, because nobody knows how long they've got in the company, and in a company which does not see any future as we sit and talk today.
Right, it looks like end of the road for BYJU'S, at least for now. A company that is embattled in various court cases, currently fighting its foreign investors, has delayed salaries and is now on a sacking spree.